Next session's on bullets. Very, very critical to your copy again. But how did you find the office session? Good. Learn a lot from it? Good, because you really do need to get that grasped and grasp it well. Now, when we go to your bullets, you're familiar with bullets and mini headlines, correct? Your bullets basically should be benefit statements about what your product or service will do for the person that's buying it. But you've got to be careful with bullets. Give away too much information, they don't need to buy your product or your service. So you really got to, allude to what they're going to get from buying a product or service in your bullets, but not tell them, not give it to them. You give them a little bit, but don't give them the whole story. Okay, I've seen people that have written stuff where it's like, well, I don't need to buy a product. It's all there. It's all laid out. Okay, so your bullets, which, why isn't this on?
Oh, sorry, Trevor, I tell you.
It's all right, Peter? What is it on there? Stretch.
You got that back on there? Yeah. Should come up.
Okay. Who here has written bullets in their copy in the past and found them hard to write? Yeah. Why do you find them hard to write? What's been the stumbling block for you, knowing you need bullets? What makes it hard for you to write them? James?
I think my biggest problem is differentiating between benefits and features. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. A feature is basically, it's the product, right? It's the service. The benefit is what that product or service will do for your customer. Okay? It's simply taking what they're going to get from using that tool or that service. Okay? And again, we're not going word for word in this thing, but it is fairly detailed, explained as to what a benefit is. But when you understand you've got XY widget, that's really it's a product. It's a box, it's some CDs and DVDs, but it's the benefit people get from listening to that, how they increase their sales and get more profits. That's the benefit from it. Okay? Benefits sell. Features do not. So just understand, if you get stuck, and we'll give you some triggers as part of the bullet exercise, that when you've detailed down, say, a feature of what your product or service will do, there's joining words that actually force you to extract the benefit from that product or service, which will make bullets easier to write. Okay? You can use bullets in your headlines. You can use it in your body copy, your opt-in box, your PS. And they're easy on the eye to read. So use them. At times I've taken people's paragraph upon paragraph upon paragraph and simply turned them into bullets. It looks better, not only on the eye, it's easier to read, that actually stands their copy out more, makes it sizzle more.
Are we supposed to get copies of this?
The bullets?
This piece of paper.
Diane, have you got the bullet session there, please? You're going to get the bullet if you keep slipping up down the back. You'll be up the front now, where the naughty people are.
That's right. He's very naughty.
Yeah, I'm naughty.
Richard, you better get out the back, mate. You're not naughty enough. Okay, so no, we'll get that for you. So a bullet is not hard to do, and your exercise of actually doing all your headlines, and once you go through that exercise, realistically, your headlines, a lot of it will be around the benefits of your product or your service. So a lot of those headlines that you start to write can actually be turned into actual bullet points within your copy. So let's say something, a benefit you can offer or benefit your customers get is 3 ways, right? You wouldn't just sort of state what the benefit is, you would say 3 easy ways. Or 17 steps to X, Y, Z. We've given you, in part of this handout, a lot of starts you can use for your bullets as well. Okay, so you're getting the words to trigger in your own mind as to how to turn that feature into a benefit. So as we say there, people will buy from you because of just one bullet. Could be the key bullet that they read that goes, yep, I want to hand over the money now.
Bullet in the meat.
Otherwise you'll get the bullet. That'd be the silver one. Okay? You got to write them with passion. You know, Diane's out the back there talking to John and I, talking about this this marketing person who simply doesn't collect data, doesn't collect names and email addresses. Didn't she fire up? Like the angry ant from Aberdeen she was. Okay, but the passion came out. She takes that passion into her copy. She's going to absolutely blitz it. She'll nail it. Okay, so your bullets can have passion as well. So think about, you know, there's an example. Passive smoking kills. Yeah, it's not bad, but you can change that. Okay? Passive smoking kills, which means the next time you go to a smoke-filled bar and breathe in someone else's cancer sticks, you're risking your health and putting yourself one step closer to an early grave. It's not so much a benefit, but it's a bullet point. Okay? Those words up there, which means, they are that's the trigger point I use most to explain to people how to turn a feature into a benefit. Okay, so you sort of know what it can do, but you ask yourself which means, then you answer that becomes your bullet point. Does that help you, James? Okay, there's a couple of other sort of trigger words you can use as well. But you wouldn't want to do every bullet point which means. You vary it, but for your own peace of mind, when you're looking at what your product or service offers, that is the way to extract all the bullets / all the benefit points from your product or service. Because people want to know what your product or service is going to do for them. Why should they part with the money? Now, bearing in mind, they don't get to your offer until you've got your headline, your subhead, your opening paragraphs, your story, your bullet points, your testimonials, then your offer. Generally, unless they're skimming, but I mean, people will skim and read bullet points as opposed to a paragraph any day of the week. So this is very critical. As we said yesterday, you know, you can break your bullets down. I like to use testimonials in the bullets. You know, I've literally had page upon page upon page of bullets in the past. There's another one, another trigger. What that means to you is. You've got that in there. It's all written down there for you. You've got it in your handout. Okay? So you've detailed what your product or service is. So what that means to you is. And you have to answer it. Once you do that, you've got a compelling, benefit-driven statement, which is a bullet. In your case, okay? Why should someone buy your nanny book? If someone's going to buy it, think of one of the major benefits and go, which means, and then give the answer. What's it going to do for them in getting your book? What problem are you going to solve? Yeah. Okay, so you can use which means, what that means to you is, etc., etc. We'll get into the rules, okay? Your bullets should be honest. You've also got to motivate your prospect to buy your product or service. Otherwise, it's a dud bullet. It's a waste of time. Okay, you want to use live bullets effectively, not dummy rounds. A lot of copy I see has got dummy rounds on it. The bullets shouldn't be there. They just slapped some bullets together because they thought needed some bullets. Yes, make them powerful. Make them sell your product or service. Okay. Passion we've spoken about. Make your prospects hungry in your bullet points, in your benefits. Again, they've got to be hungry for what you're offering. Otherwise, if they're not hungry for it, they can buy it later. And chances are they won't, unless you do decent follow-up marketing. You know, a small percentage of your prospects will buy the first time. majority, and I mean 99% of them, won't buy the first time. So, but you've got to get them onto your database in the first place. There's really a couple of parts to your copy. Knowing a certain amount's going to buy right now, that most of them won't buy now. A lot of people can't come to grips with that.
Just one question about your passive smoking kills. If that's used as a bullet point, where does this fit in, the longer version?
Sorry?
If passive smoking kills is classified as a bullet point, where does this longer version fit into the picture? I'm slightly confused about that.
Okay,
On the top of your screen.
Yeah. If you actually go back, I'm giving you an example of a basic bullet point, right? So it's a lame one at this point in time. I've then asked myself the question, which means, and come up with the longer version. You could put that on your copy as a bullet point, but it's not very good. When you answer the question, you've got a benefit and you've got a longer bullet point. So in other words, you've got a small section, which is fairly lame, but when you ask the which means or what that means to you is, you then answer it, you come up with a longer version.
I had this notion that a bullet point had to be very short.
Yeah,
No.
It's not kind of length, because that did seem like
A long bullet point.
It's a mini headline, as long as the wording's right. Yeah, look, I've done some that are 3 or 4 lines long. Generally they're 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I'm not going to skimp on a bullet if I can't say the full benefit of what that is. Others are 3 words, others are, 1 line. But again, with your writing skills, what you then do with your bullets, you can edit certain words to shorten it. But if you have to cut out words that detract from it being a benefit-driven statement, a good bullet, no point doing it. Okay? And as we said there, you want them to tease your prospect. You don't want to tell them what and give them the answer they're not going to buy. You want to tease them and stir them up till they go, yep, I want to buy that. You're not a charity case. Okay. Rule 2 is fairly simple. Your bullets must be benefit-packed, enticing and seductive. You want them to have a desire to swell up and basically buy. Yep, I've got to have that. You don't know where they're going to stop in your copy. You don't know what they're going to read. But what I can say with a lot of confidence is your bullets are going to get read generally by most people. They'll at least skim those bullets. And it could be that one bullet point that triggers them to go, yep, I don't need to read anymore. I'm going to buy right now. So what you do when you write your bullets, again, you start off with your strongest first. If you have a testimonial, which we stated yesterday, that basically provides proof of that bullet point, slap your testimonial in there. It breaks up your copy. It's easy to read on the eye. And, it will look good. I'm going to ask you this question, although I think I've got the full details in one of the other modules. It might be the next one. For those that do know, I think, John, you may know this, so don't say anything. When someone comes to your website, how long have you got? How long do you think you've got before they click off and go elsewhere?
2 seconds.
Yeah?
3 seconds.
3?
With me.
2.2.
2.2?
Yeah.
3?
10 seconds.
10 seconds? I'd like you to come to my website. Any other answers? A Canadian university did a study last year, and you have 1/20th of a second. 50 milliseconds, and you've got the full article that I reprinted. That's not even that. You know yourself, okay? You open up your inbox, email, delete. Go to website, click. You're doing it. Guess what? So's your competition, so's your clients.
So what makes them click if they're not reading the headline then? If they don't have time to read the headline, what's making them click off?
They don't like the first thing they see.
So they think, oh, this looks like a sales letter, so I'm off.
No, the sales letter's fine. Okay, but someone comes to your website, they tested this, right, and they just flashed up all these websites. Literally at quick speed. Yes, no, I'd read it. Bang. They went back, same order, same websites, slowed it down and got the same results. Okay, so the first thing people see when your website pops up has got to grab them by the throat, grab their eyes to keep reading. I do not like header graphics, personally, for that reason alone. Okay, it's got to be a compelling, driven, benefit-driven headline that jumps out and forces them to stay on your website and keep reading. What's that?
The projector's cutting the top of your head.
Oh, okay, that's all right. Look better. So you've got basically 1/20th of a second. Not 1 second, not 2 seconds, not 10 seconds. You've got a nanosecond before people, when they click on your website, go, nah, I'm out of here. And really yourself, when you next get online, look at how you operate. Okay, now you may stay a bit longer, and that's fine, but you're not your customer.
Presumably though, if you're doing the two-step approach where you've perhaps put an advert in somewhere offering a report and they've then gone specifically to that, that would be slightly longer because they've actually been interested by the advert in the first place.
Not necessarily. If the first thing they see, if your ads hook them into taking the next step, the next thing they see is crap, they're out of there.
Yeah, I agree if it's crap, but the fact that they've actually bothered to go to it, if you've got a good headline, they presumably going to...
If you've got a good headline, that's the key part.
But that's not long enough to read it.
Well, you can't argue with statistics on what
No,
people are
I'm not
looking at,
arguing.
yeah.
I'm not arguing, I'm saying that 1/20th of a second is not long enough to read, so it doesn't matter if it's crap or not.
Well, if they don't like the first thing they see on your website, right,
If it's 1/20th of a second, is it not that it looks like? Is it not what it looks like straight away?
it could be they go, well, this is not what I'm after. Okay, so in other words, the important thing on any website you do, you've got to have a cracker of a headline. You've got to give yourself that chance because people are impatient.
Yeah.
It's so easy to surf and click off and browse elsewhere.
You've just given it, haven't you? Crap.
Yeah.
You open a page and see crap. You're going to look again, aren't you?
Sorry? If you see crap as a headline, well, maybe. It's like using sex in a headline. Okay, people think you can use sex in a headline. If you don't, it doesn't work. It arouses curiosity, but then the rest of the body copy doesn't tie it in, they're gone.
Does the colour of the website make... I mean, does...
Colour does, but we're not going to get into that now because we're behind. Okay, we'll cover that more on the last day. Definitely your colours and testing. But the first thing people see, now assuming they've searched the net, or like I say, they've gone to your advert and they look at your website, so this ad sounds good, I want the free report. The first thing they see in that split second doesn't excite them to keep reading, they click off. So bear that in mind. Look at your own website right now, effectively, when you get out of here and go, yeah, would people stay and read my copy? You're losing a lot of business, a lot of leads, a lot of traffic, a lot of conversions, a lot of sales by the first thing people see when they click on your site. Doesn't do it for them. Okay, so very, very important to know that fact. Okay, bullets are passionate. You know, we've gone through that. Peter, I think you put that example in there, Peter. Opening your bullets with an action word. Eliminate, whatever in your life. Or it could be eliminates. Makes it more powerful. But try and, get your passion in there. If you understand your prospects, you've done your profiling, right, you know what keeps them awake at night, why they should buy your product or service, which is really to solve a problem, giving them the solution, and you've done your research and you know what the actual product is, these bullets will be written very easily for you. They still take time. Now here's some templates that you've got. There's quite a few of them. And that really says it all. People aren't interested in your product. They don't care about your product or your service. They want to know what it's going to do for them. What do they get out of buying your product or your services? What's in it for me? It's what they're asking. That's their favourite radio station. You do it yourself. Okay, why did you come to this workshop? You ask yourself that question in your mind. What are you going to get out of being here that you couldn't get out of watching a DVD? So you've got to ask yourself that question from your prospect's eyes and answer that within your bullet points. A lot of times there are a lot of benefits literally that are sitting there in a product or a service that people don't explain, and by simply adding those bullets, those gold nuggets, you can increase your sale price as well as obviously get more sales. So bullets are very, very critical. You've got those templates there, right? Not going to read them all out, we don't. There's no need to. This is another thing that you can do. You can actually, in some of your bullet points, put your page number. On page 56, you know, how to beat. What do you got? You can eradicate whatever. In other words, you're wanting, on page 56, I'm going to find this bullet. I'm going to discover what that can do for me. Or, you know, on CD number 3. And then explain what the benefit is. Again, it's teasing your prospect, but not telling them what the actual deal is. Okay. Anyone stuck on really what a bullet is and how to do it? How to write one? How to write 2? How to write 20? No questions? Start writing your bullets for your product or your service. Remember, I want live bullets. I want live ammunition, not duds. Not plain.
Pizzazz.
Sorry?
Lots of pizzazz.
You swearing at me again?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Sorry?
We're doing it for the product and then for the bonuses as well.
You will need to do it for your bonuses, but get onto your product first, yeah.
I would typically do 20 bullets for your main product and 6 bullets for the bonus.
Okay.
That's just a rough guide. Every bullet should have a benefit.
And remember, you've got those trigger words to ask yourself, which means so that you make sure you refer to the section in your module which helps you to start writing your bullets. You know, like I use, you know, typical words, you know, discover, expose, revealed. What I'd like you to do as you're doing it, so that you get the idea, is you actually start, before you even start your bullet, you know, do one of those or do a tick to get used to writing as a bullet format. See? So in this case, you know. Yeah. And whatever it is.
Should they be sort of in the order that they are in the book, or can you just kind of do random bullets and it doesn't matter where they come in the book?
I try and put the strongest bullet points first.
Oh, okay.
So they could be anywhere in your product,
yeah.
but you want it to be, you want your strongest. You don't really want any weak bullets there anyway.
Yeah.
But the real meat and the sandwich bullets have got to be bang, 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 bang.
So you just write them as they come to you and then would order them?
Yeah, so if you've got an e-book or any book and you've gone through it and extracted those out and made your notes and you turn them into bullet points, put your strongest ones first.
Mm.
If you're having difficulty, refer to the templates that we've given you. It
Yeah.
makes it easy. But the best bullets are the ones that you create yourself. But you've got to start somewhere. So start with a template.
Full stop at the end, though.
I always put a full stop at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try not to use too many exclamation marks in my bullets. And again, to make your bullet stand out on your copy, I bold one and then leave the next one unbolded. Years ago I used to do it, I'd sort of bold certain key words, but it looks too messy. Again, it can have that clouded effect. If you bold, unbold, bold, unbold, again, it's actually easier to read and it stands out.
Do you always use black, or would you maybe alternate blue and black, or?
I always use black. You can have too many colours on your website. I mean, I predominantly, red headline or blue headline. If I use a red headline, on my subheads will be blue, like the reflex or navy blue. Try not to have too many colours.
No, that's going over to headlines, so I forget that.
Yeah. Why aren't you writing it by hand?
Because I'm naughty and I'm sat at the front.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
No, I have to do it this way, sorry.
No.
Well, I've done it by hand, look.
You should be doing it by hand.
Well, I've done it by hand, I'm writing them out on...
Okay. Okay. Yeah? How long you got? Be 2 seconds.
Alright, well. You'll win.
Okay. With your bullets as well, don't try and edit them at this point in time. Just write them. You edit later. If you spend too much time sort of thinking about a bullet, is the wording quite right? You're going to lose time. Just write them, edit later. Editing's on the last day anyway.
Trevor, is now a good point to tell them how I write copy? I like to write when I'm drunk, and I edit when I'm sober.
Never. I'd never get to edit. Who's got 5 bullets written? Who's got 10 bullets written? Again, think about what your prospect, who at this point in time is a prospect, even if they're an existing customer, you're offering a new product or service, what are they going to get out of your product or your service? What's the benefit that's got to go into your bullet point? Use your trigger words, how to, discover, revealed, exposed, yet again. You've got, how many there's? 37 templates you can use to model from. There's no reason. If you get stuck, start at number 1, write a bullet for that, go to number 2, write a bullet for that.
Who was it? It wasn't you, was it, that talked about listening to Mozart when you composed it?
That's
Creating it.
that's Ted. You'll have Mozart later, yeah.
Yeah, apparently, all right. It only works with him as well, doesn't it?
Sorry?
So, it only works with Mozart's music, allegedly. Yeah.
Well, he found during his seminar that the best copy was written
It was,
with the
yeah.
attendees, yeah,
Yeah.
when Mozart was on. What do you want, some Mozart or something?
But as Ted will say, not just any Mozart, but the 21st Symphony.
Have you tried anything like that?
No,
Okay.
I put on the Rolling Stones, yeah, it works for me.
Yeah, but you really want music without words, don't you?
Yeah, in all
The words
seriousness.
the words will distract you.
Fluency.
I generally don't have any music, to be honest. You could start up Chainsaw up in front of me and I literally wouldn't hear it.
Ted has
Just get in the
this
zone.
Ted has this technique that he calls the peak emotional state. And he gets himself into this peak emotional state by listening to Mozart. He'll be talking about that this afternoon.
Yeah.
There's a lot in what he says.
Yeah, you've got to get into your own zone, basically. Where generally nothing can break you from it.
There you go. Yeah. That's Ted's music.
Thank you.
That's helping already.
There's no excuse now.
It makes me want to cry.
Think of cigars.
Amber.
Okay, keep writing those bullets. Write them, edit later. You can relook at your bullets tonight instead of going to the bar. But just write them. How many you got, Diane?
9.
You're halfway there almost. You're flying over there. Just get into them. Peter, do you just want to maybe check a few and see how they're going in their bullets, please? Instead of saying 3 facts, say 3 compelling reasons. Okay. It's plain words, but yeah, that's when you start to write more. But yeah, you jazz it up. You use power words. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And like here, a clinical question, right? The one critical question you must answer. Right. And like this one here, it could be, depending on what it really is, but the drug companies don't want you to know about it. Okay, creates curiosity yet again. You going all right, John?
Yeah, right. I don't know the reason.
Of course I can read them. Okay, so like in this one here, right? That's good, but if you said which means, what's the answer going to be? What? 5 simple ways to troubleshoot. Okay. What's the benefit they get from that? What does that solve for them? There you go, Miranda. Sorry?
Can you read it?
Well, a little bit, I don't know.
That's the largest stamp you play.
I've got 9. Music I've been to that.
They push back.
I've only the last 20 odd years I've done that more. So what, I've got this one.
Okay, so the correct way could be, let's say there's three critical, like I say,
I think it's a useful
next
thing to
to
say.
John and the guy at the front. Three critical questions you must ask your real estate agent. You know, think about, because you've got the correct way to speak to you, well, I know you still, but what does that really mean? What does that solve for them? What do they get out of speaking to the agent the correct way?
Because there's one way of making it work for you and work harder for you. There's one that is going to...
Okay, so that's got to come out within your bullet point. You know, which means your agent will work for you, get the maximum price, etc., etc.
And your property is to the top of the list.
Yeah, it's those. So that's why you use those, like the triggers. Just ask yourself, what's that really mean?
That's why we said weeks ago, know what you've got.
So would I write that instead of the actual question?
Pretty much, yeah. The right way and the wrong way to speak to an agent.
To improve
Okay.
your
You
listing?
know, the wrong way will guarantee your listing stays at the bottom, you get no service. The right way will... You don't tell them what it is, just allude to it.
Okay.
Okay. There you go, mate.
Yeah.
Struggling?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put something fictitious.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It's just a bullet, so obviously we can try and fill something in with regards to it.
Right there, it should be. Yeah, man.
I haven't looked at this, I'm trying to refer to this, but
We've already written out. It's all right. You know, they all like that. For the brain process, handwriting is the best. Well, no, I didn't really own
What are the... I mean, what's the actual product you're selling? What are you offering?
it's how to... People will have nothing and I'll produce for them, or show them how to produce in 72 hours. Product website and money in the bank. So anybody that is sitting at home that wants to start up hasn't got any idea how to do it. This is like
So there's obviously a whole lot of processes and steps in the way that enable them to do that in 72 hours. Okay, so, you know, it might be the 5 critical things you must do in the first 12 hours to guarantee you got money in the bank in 72 hours.
okay.
Okay, that type of thing. And it's curiosity, you know, but you're leading them along the way.
So break it down.
You've got to break it down, yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
How are you going in, lady?
Okay,
Okay.
this is for my, if you can read any of this.
Easy.
5 fatal profit killing mistakes and how to avoid them, or would you avoid the top 5?
How to avoid.
How to?
You could do that either way, you know, or the 5 fatal mistakes. The 5, you know, fatal profit mistakes, I should say.
Okay, this one is actually for my, I needed my bullets for the service to do it for me. And I was thinking about its frustration with the technical side, so I'll come to that. But I don't know the tricky technical stuff.
Okay.
6 simple steps to be selling more in less than an hour.
You ask the question and then
Yeah.
you say, find out how.
And that could be, you know, like reveal ...
Oh, yeah, we put that. Oh, yes. I thought that was a question.
Discover the ABC formula to fast online profits,
Which means?
Yeah, okay, yeah. I was reading.
which means it's a ABC, it's a system, a formula, it's a recipe.
Which means it's so easy a child could do it. Yeah.
Would I put that in?
Well, you could, you know, you could certainly massage on that.
Okay. An easy 3-step system to trading online, but I don't know if trading is there.
Trading that could confuse them with stock market.
To online sales,
Yeah.
it's getting a bit generic now, isn't it? Uncover the
Yeah.
secrets of online success. That could be anything.
Could be anything, yeah. Well, but there might be, you know, let's say there's, you know that there's at least 3 secrets that can really help them, well, and then you know that they can get that from the product, find service, or you put the number in there, and suddenly it's no longer a generic bullet point.
Okay.
Okay. And what is really underlying success, you know, which means also that you can, you know, be getting product sales. Just expand on that bullet
You've got
point.
to ask that.
You've got to ask that question every bullet
Which
point,
means-
yeah.
And do you spell out what it means in the bullet point. You know, as long as
You sort of, which means you don't actually tell them what they get, but you dance around it. You tease them with it.
Okay.
You know?
And then that stress-free setup for your online store is obviously the next bullet point, but the actual entry level, quick and easy e-commerce, or e-commerce made easy.
I would do easy e-commerce made easy, and then expand on that.
People will buy your products just on the basis of one bullet that you've written. And they want to know how to find the answer to that one bullet.
Right.
The answer is go.
You've got to reveal in there, I suppose.
It's generic. Take a general. You might have looked for a general learning solution. They can look to specific problems, Spanish or self-help or whatever. You can't follow all of them. That's the easiest one to understand. Spanish.
Basically more along the line of
And it's doing it in a way
the fact that people come to their site and call it when it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
You know, read an 8-hour.
Yeah.
That's still more really saying, if someone comes to site at 1:33 in the morning, you're asleep, it's still all
Well, in part, they do some preparation. And eventually you're going to realise it all when you're asleep.
You got your bullets done?
Yeah. I've got 10.
Good, 10. That's all you got?
Self-page.
You should have another 10. Seriously, you'll need more than 10 bullet points. Yeah, you will need more.
Getting there, but not the benefit, what's the opposite? The problem with that in the bullet points, I've got, you really want to look like an idiot on holiday, feel like an idiot on holiday.
How to avoid looking like an idiot, yeah.
How to avoid that,
You know? Yeah, you can certainly put a known problem in there.
yeah. And imply that this is the solution.
Yeah, the only way they get the answer is by buying your product. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Find out what this is on page.
Oh, I've done there, we on page.
Yeah. You don't have to put page number.
You know, the right way and the wrong way to get served.
Yeah.
The wrong way is to do nothing, and the right way is to buy a product.
Did you say something earlier about mixing some testimonials in among your bullets?
Yeah.
Or share up the bullets in different parts of it?
Yeah, so okay, so you've got a few bullets there, right? Then you can put a testimonial in. And then you got more bullets again. Just to break it up in your copy, and obviously if you do have a bullet, as we said before, a testimonial that matches that bullet, well, that's where you put it. It just makes sense. It's proof. How are you going? Getting there? How you going, Richard? Finished? How many you got?
Yeah. That's the problem I've got because it's not exactly a website. It's like web page. Yeah, but you can refer to it.
That's for the main product.
Yeah, all your sections are. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure I could do a couple more.
Find these in the download section. Yeah.
I already have them written down.
Yeah.
I was just
Top man. That's fine.
I'm just putting them in here so I can
Make it easier later.
put it right on.
Okay, so maybe go. We'll sort of get going again in a minute. But maybe read your bullets now and say, well, are there any words there that you can tweak, that you can change, you know, that have more power?
Probably, yeah. I bet there would be, yeah. Because they're only like off the top of my head, really.
Yeah, you know, and go through each one and ask yourself the question: what does this really mean?
Oh, yeah.
Have I answered that in my bullet point?
Okay. I'll do that now.
Do it now. We'll fire up again in a minute. How's everybody going with their bullets? Struggling? Yeah? James, you having a difficult time?
Yeah, very much so. Anybody not struggling?
Getting easier.
Not that.
They're getting easier. Yeah. They're never, it's still all, it's work, and you have to think about them, but when you apply the templates, the formula, they're gonna flow. You don't do it in 5 minutes. We haven't given you a long time, but from what I've seen on some of the bullets, there's some pretty good ones there, others that need work. Now again, apply the same question at each bullet point when you go back and edit later. What does this really mean? Have I explained that benefit or that solution to a problem in that bullet point? Have I agitated a problem whereby I allude to the fact that the only way that they can get that problem solved or that agitation solved or removed is by buying my product or service?
What does Dan Kennedy say? Find an itch,
Scratch it.
and give them the solution.
Yeah. What was your headline yesterday? Yeah.
It was yours.
It was his.
Was that for the acne product? Hemorrhoids.
His hemorrhoids.
Yeah, but the bottom fell out.
Didn't scratch it hard enough. Has anyone got known bullets that they haven't written down yet? You still need a little bit more time to write them? I really would suggest tonight that you, or in the morning, spend a bit of time fine-tuning your bullets and your offer point, because it's critical. You want to leave here Sunday with a really good draft that you've nailed.
What was them two words with answer?
Which means.
Which means?
Yeah. It really does. It forces you to actually answer that question with brutal honesty.
If you go through your product and pick out all the features, a bullet is really turning those features into a benefit.
Yeah.
You should never have a feature alone as a benefit. Always explain it in benefit terms.
Just a few more minutes. I really want to get started on headlines. Five minutes and then we'll kick off on
Trevor,
get some headline hooking.
if we were to do this ourselves at home or in our rooms, would this be the actual order we would actually start writing our copies? Would this be the best way to attack?
Yeah, we're giving you the process that we follow, that I follow, that Peter follows in this format. That's why it's done module by module by module.
So before we start our headlines, we will start with our bullets.
You need to know what your product is, yeah. How can you really start crafting a decent, compelling headline that's going to pull if you don't know what the benefits of your product or service are? You can't possibly do a decent job on a headline unless you fluke it. I don't suggest you try and do that. What did Ted Nicholas yesterday say about gambling?
Losers,
Yeah.
more or less, anyway.
Most people with their online or offline marketing as a business owner or an entrepreneur are gamblers. They're taking the punt and they're losing out big time. You don't want to gamble.
I was just asking you that because some people actually state that you work your headline first.
Yeah,
and
I
then
know.
write your bullets.
And
That's why I was asking, what would you suggest this way?
yeah. What happens there, I mean, to be honest, I don't know too many other copywriters that suggest even profiling.
No, you explained that very well.
Yeah, but people don't tell you about it. I'll just do your headline first because it's very important that it is, but you can't even get to that point unless you've done the other steps. You've done your profiling. You've crafted your offer. With there, you go to your bullet points. Then everything else pretty much falls into place. It's so much easier to write it. Because what we're doing is laying the foundation for your success for your product or service. If you go and build a house and your foundation's weak, it's going to fall over. this is the foundation work that you're doing. That's why we do it this way. Sure, you can crank some headlines out before your bullets, but they're going to be weaker for doing it. If you do it the other way, the way we suggest, you have stronger headlines. You getting there, James?
Slowly.
What about you, John?
Yes, I'm getting there.
Chuck's got all that.
Yeah. Headless chooks have been mentioned.
Headless chooks.
Yeah.
Headless chickens over here.
Aye.
No? How many you got, basically?
Certainly 9 and 5 on the previous page.
Okay. See, what you can do is, okay, go through your book. I did this for the digital photography one, where she had, okay, you might say stitches for beginners, and there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Good number.
It's a great number, but you can turn that into a benefit and a bullet.
Yeah.
You know, the 17 easy lessons or compelling reasons stitches for beginners can get this. I mean, just use your numbers that are in your book. It's not just, you know, stitches for beginners.
No, it's very true.
Okay. So, you know, in each section, you realistically, if I was doing the copy for this, I would go through this book.
Yes.
I'd read each section. And let's say, you know, in one paragraph, there's 3 sort of nuggets there. Well, turn them into benefits.
3 bullet points.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to go around the room quickly, and it's going to chew a little bit of time, so no, I won't do everybody. I'll pick, say, 3 or 4 people. And just read out 1 or 2 of your bullet points. Sheila.
Oh, can I just...
No.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like a good bullet.
In any, they're not in order of the best first, because I don't know yet.
Okay.
5 facts you must know in order to write a legal employment contract for your nanny. The 1, 2, 3 formula for finding a great nanny to look after your children.
Needs work, yeah.
Okay. Don't let your children down. Get them the best nanny by using this simple system.
Don't. Too general.
Too general. Okay.
But again, you know, you can edit these and go later. Let's do one more.
Okay. Are you coming to the UK to live and need childcare for your family? Find out how to find the best, oh that's not very good, the best available without using expensive agencies.
Which means, what's the benefit from that? What is it?
Saving money, I suppose, without using expensive agencies.
Okay.
Doesn't that imply a benefit? No.
Well, you can still strengthen that benefit up. You know, you can make it tighter with stronger wording. Diane. Just give me your 2 best ones.
Discover the ABC formula to fast online profits. So easy a child could do it.
Yeah. What else?
How to set up shop online in less than an hour. I wouldn't say that's my best one.
No, you can certainly add to that.
Okay.
Okay, from the prospect's mind, What is the benefit of them being online with a shopping cart in 1 hour?
Speed,
Yeah? What else?
instant profits.
Fast profits.
Start getting sales.
I would have thought one of Diane's best bullets is encouraging the prospect to outsource the work that could take hours and hours to learn how to do. And you don't need to learn how to do it. Outsource it. And Diane is the outsourcer in this particular case.
That's offer B, which I haven't even begun the bullets.
Okay, but you're on the right track. James, just give us 2, then we'll go to headlines.
Okay. I've got the truth about affiliate marketing and why 95% of people never make a dime, and how you can be in the remaining 5%.
Okay, so in front of that you could add exposed,
Okay.
revealed, elude the fact that there's truths out there that they don't want you to know about. Like there's some insider secrets.
Okay.
Another one?
The amazing affiliate program just about everyone gets wrong, and how you can easily avoid their mistakes to make instant profits.
Okay. It's not bad. Okay, just massage it. Still a little bit generic in there. Try and come up with why it's amazing.
Sure.
John Green?
Your budgets go further because there are no more hotel bills and travelling costs for those off-site courses.
What was that, sorry?
Your budgets go further because there's no more travelling and hotel costs for those off-site courses. Can't find the experienced staff. Train the people you have quickly and at low costs.
I'd turn that into a how-to type bullet. Not can't find the staff. Change it around to a how-to and swap your wording around, you'll get a better bullet point.
Look like a hero by getting the most out of the Microsoft products and your staff. To your boss. Look like a hero to your boss.
What does being a hero to their boss really imply? What does their boss get out of that one at the same time?
The guy's going to get promoted.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. What's been the most difficult exercise you've done so far? This one? Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Who says bullets? Who says offer? Yeah.
I think they tally together, really.
Yeah.
They do, yeah. Okay. But, you're getting the pieces of the jigsaw, and I'm assuming it's all going cogs over in your brain as to really what is my offer. Okay. What is it going to be? What's going to make it compelling? And then that'll help your benefits, help your bullet points.
Just one question. Just listening to the various bullets that people mentioned there, they sound totally like headlines, or not of them. Is it safe to assume that these should be headlines with bullet points before them, or are they bullets?
No, a bullet point is basically a mini headline. That's why they sound that way.
Okay.
Treat them as a mini headline, because as we're going into next is headlines. They are so critical to your success. This is why we don't do headlines first, Miranda. Okay? It helps you create that sizzling, persuasive headline anyway, to get you the best one.
Is the intention then on the copy that they're separated? Because if you have all these headlines one after the other, does it not look a bit strange?
Well, you don't write it as a headline, you write it as a bullet point. Okay? Still the same wording, but that's why it's done. If we flip back, it's done with your bullet point or your checkbox, and it's just 2 or 3 lines, or maybe 1 line. It's going to be the same font size as the rest of your copy, of your body copy, so it won't stand out like a major headline. It's not a subhead or a heading.
Can we bring up some examples to give people a feel of what they look like with a website?
Do you want to bring up just the copywriting workshop website? Yeah. But yes, they are a headline. They're a mini headline. They've got to be impactful. They've got to tease your prospect without telling them and giving them the answer.
I think a lot of us probably have been educated the wrong way by seeing bad bullet points elsewhere.
Of course, yeah.
Me anyway.
Yeah.
Like your passive smoking kills.
Yeah. A lot of people get lazy all over their copy, but they don't place enough importance on a bullet point. It's a mini headline. Okay.
Long-lost marketing secrets? Or anything?
Long lost marketing, isn't it?
Okay.
It's already there.
Okay, I was just typing.
Yeah, any excuse, mate.
Don't know what that is. We'll just scroll down. Best chemical, I think we'll talk about that later. Right. Just a sample, maybe not the best ones throughout the copy, but these are bullets.
Yeah. Elmer Wheeler. Surprise, surprise. Again, you'll see how unbolded, bold, unbold, little bit of highlight.
And a little introduction as well, you may have noticed. I'll just...
Yeah.
Always have a graphic. That might not be the best graphic, but the site is 5 years old.
Did you do that by hand or did you use software to actually do a page?
I always outsource my graphics, always.
What about the whole page itself?
The copy.
Oh, this whole page?
Yeah.
Well, you write it by hand first, and then you put it into, in my case, I use Dreamweaver, which I believe is the best, but who am I to say? I'm not a web designer. But I don't outsource my web work because doing a simple sales page is exactly that. It's simple. No need to outsource that at all. I just want complete control. Because if I find a word that wants tweaking, imagine me being on the phone to a web designer, can you just change this word? And next day I'm asking him the same thing. I want to know how to do that myself.
So does that solve that problem? I mean, just look at it. I mean, we get a resource anyway, but I mean, we'll go back to the sales letter for this workshop as well. You'll see the bullets there. You know, but that's a well-written sales letter.
Do you use that for direct mail and web, or is there a difference here between product that vehicle you're going to use?
Well, you could. I mean, you could actually take that sales letter. You would have to modify it slightly. In other words, get your separate order form, etc. But convert that to a Word document, and you just do it. That's a free report.
You noticed how I've used bullets here? That was in the early days. I'll just bring up another one.
You use the tick box.
I like the tick box.
I still use the bullets, but it comes down to personal choice.
You might see a theme here.
Long lost memory. Olengineer.com.
How about long lost friends?
Yeah. Long lost advertising secrets. I wonder who owns that.
Right, again, the graphics I outsource. I'm sure I did bullets. Yeah, there you go. So that's how I depict my bullets now, but it's a personal choice. You can use the actual dot or something like that, or anything else.
You've got a lot of bullet points and various sections. You can use both.
So it's a personal choice, but have you actually tested between doing...
Yes, I've tested it,
Yeah.
and this seems to work best. Yes. And again, we've got the bold, unbold, bold, unbold. You might see I've done a little bit of highlighting. We are going to talk about that later. But whenever you do this yellow highlighting, it might show up green here, but it is yellow. Use it extremely sparingly, only where you absolutely want to stress something out.
It is a highlight, and for those ladies in the room, pink, blue, green, purple highlight is banned.
Only yellow.
Yes, that's very
It may,
terribly sexist.
it may be very sexist, but when people think highlight, they think of yellow. It's automatic. So don't. There's certain things that regardless, because I've got a lot of women clients, surprise, surprise, that have used their flowery fonts and all this purple colour and it's all florally, but you can't read it. You've got to make it easy to read. And yes, you may use a bit of colour that's for the feminine market, but don't use any other highlight colour other than yellow.
And here's a good tip specifically for bullets, because that's the module that we're on. Look at other people's websites. Go to Yannick Silver's websites. Go to Ted's websites. See what bullets they're using. Take them as your models and templates.